obnoxious idea. But when they came to us with this idea, we thought, you're nuts. I mean, we don't want to house or store 5 million yellow wristbands. Nobody will want these. And it ended up taking off, and we went through 5 and 10 and 20, and now we've sold 85 million yellow wristbands around the world. But the moral of that story is that was a gift for us. It helped us raise $85 million for a very small organization. But more importantly, it gave us a brand, it gave us a color, it gave us an audience, it gave us an army. There were 85 million people that spent $1 to be a part of something. Doug and I talk about this a lot. It was almost like the early interpretation of social media. I mean, people were part of a movement for nothing. And so it basically set us up for life, and I think it really just continues on. We have a huge job, a huge responsibility. We're trying to serve an enormous problem. 560,000 Americans are going to die this year from this disease. I don't know how long I've been standing here, 5 minutes. 5 Americans have died. So it's just, the numbers are staggering. I don't know the fellow's name you were telling us about, your co-worker. Rory. So sometimes you have those direct connections, somebody who sits next to you, or whether it's your mom, or whether it's your neighbor, an old classmate. But obviously the disease is something that touches every single one of us, and not just here in the United States, but all over the world. So we've got a big task, and I tell people all the time too that this is such a complicated problem. This is not something, I mean, we love to talk about ending this disease in our lifetime. The reality is we may not ever get there. This is the disease that is hundreds and hundreds of types of cancers, hundreds and hundreds of different types of malignancies and cell types. Very complicated to solve. This is not diabetes or obesity or poverty or HIV/AIDS. This is something that's we literally. Why is Rory not here, and why am I here? Doug, a 3-time survivor. Why is he here? Because we were lucky enough to come across it as a part of this disease that had a solution. And so the thing that we have really taken on as survivors is just this idea and this obligation to tell our story. And so I'm telling my story a little bit right now, but I've been telling the story for 15 years, and I'm not going to stop until I have to. And I think that's Doug's commitment as well. And I'll just tell you a little bit about Doug right quick. I actually met Doug. Speaking of telling stories and sharing stories, and you guys are all about stories too, but Doug was playing soccer at Brown. And he was diagnosed for the 2nd or 3rd time. And they wrote about him in the alumni magazine. Somebody, I don't even remember who it was, sent me the magazine and said, maybe you should reach out for this guy. And I actually had, this is funny, I just got, this is not bullshit. I still have it. You still have his email. We'll send you the email. I had this, I don't even know.
Is that right?
Email,
it's an AOL.
It was my first email account. I was texeddie@AOL.com. And I sent it to Doug, and I said, hey, I just read this story about you. I'm also a young survivor, a young athlete. If there's anything we can ever do together, please let me know, and keep in touch. And his mom still said, we had our anniversary a few years ago, our 10-year anniversary a few years ago, and his mom busted out the original email that I sent to Doug. From an AOL account, but it was the beginning of something that has really changed my relationship with him, and his relationship with the organization, and his relationship with this disease, and the entire spectrum of the diseases. I think it's changed a lot of things. So, Doug, I don't know if you want to add anything, but.
Well, I would just say thanks for having us, and to Tim and Kenny, thanks for organizing it. And I think our organization tries to be bold and audacious and do things that are different that can really change the paradigm. And I think what we're here talking about is one of those ideas. But more importantly, we're all about helping people and their families when they're diagnosed. So the only thing I would leave you with is, in the next week or 2 or 3 or 4, every single person here is going to hear from someone that you know in your family, your community, in your school, in your neighborhood that's unfortunately heard what we like to refer to as the 3 most feared words in the English language. You have cancer. And the only ask we would have of you is just send them our way as soon as possible. We can get them whatever information they need on clinical trials, get them the right therapy, get them the right doctors, get them the right insurance, the right coverage, the right practical and psychosocial support. We can help them navigate that experience. And our biggest issue is just reaching more people in that time of need. And you guys reach hundreds of millions of people every day. So to the extent that you can help us serve those in need, we would greatly appreciate that. And we look forward to hopefully figuring out a way to work real strategic level with all of you to ultimately improve the lives of millions and millions of people. And I think that's what the Livestrong brand stands for. How can we use and leverage this brand to improve millions and millions of lives? It's like I tell our staff of 100 back in Austin, we are naive and audacious. We're naive enough to think we can change the world, and we're audacious enough to try. And if we fail, we'll only have saved a few million lives and helped improve the quality of life for maybe 10 or 20 million more. Not so bad in a life's work. So I get to do what I love every day. I work with great people like Lance and our colleagues and board and partners, and it's a real thrill to be here. So thank you very much.
And one thing that's really amazing, besides all of the amazing things that Lance has done as an athlete, is this group has raised right at $500 million, 475 or 480. I know the numbers are still coming in big every second, every day. When I spoke to Tim, and everybody here knows Tim's an incredibly big thinker, I said, Tim, knowing Lance for a bunch of years and reconnecting with him when Tim and I were out last week, I said, AOL, Kenny D, Tim, we'd like to be part of that next 500 million, billion, billion, 2 billion. And when we spoke to Lance and Doug, Lance said we got to get up there in the next 10 to 14 days. Sure enough, 7 days after we got off the phone, they came up here and we're spending the afternoon and the evening to figure out how to get that next billion and make 2013 the biggest year that Livestrong's ever had. So big hand for these guys and for Tim who's standing in there, as he always does.
Well, thank you. If you guys have any questions or comments for Lance and Doug, fire away. But I think it's really a huge testament to Lance and Doug that basically they hopped on a plane and came up here to talk about these ideas because with all the other things going on in the world, the thing that matters the most is health. And I know from what these guys have done and seeing what they've done, they've probably helped more people out with cancer and made it more official, bigger in terms of information than almost anybody has. And I think the idea that we've been kicking around with them is how do we take that exponentially higher and touch more and more people to help out. So I don't know if anybody's got any comments. Any Viking fans here? Yeah.
I just want to, excuse me, I just want to say thank you because I was going through some health issues and I read It's Not About the Bike and it helped. And it's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks.
I just want to, on Kenny's note, I mean, obviously we can't do what we do without raising money. And the first year we started the organization, I think we got a $1,000 check from somebody, and I thought we were going to solve the whole problem. And of course we haven't. And it's great to talk about $100 million or $500 million, but I always stop myself, because people always ask me, how's it going? How's fundraising going? How's the programs going? They're great. We've raised X amount. We're doing all of these great programs around the world, and I have to stop sometimes and say that's really not great. I mean, it's great that we can actually go do the work that we want to do and help millions of people around the world. But the day it's great is the day that we don't need to raise any more money, and that's the day when. And I don't know if that's in another, whatever it is. We obviously this country and this society has invested a ton of money. I mean, Richard Nixon declared the war on cancer in 1971 and gave $150 million to create the National Cancer Institute in 1971. He said, we put a man on the moon, we can cure this disease. Very simple view, very simple. He thought it was a simple objective and a simple goal line. It wasn't. And so over the years, we've spent tons and tons of money, and it is about that. And we can't do what we do on a daily basis without that. But at the same time, you've got to convince people and educate people to make the right decision. This is what we were just talking about. This isn't just about throwing money at the problem. We as a society have to change the way we look at our lives, we look at our diet, we look at our exercise, we look at what we put in our bodies, all of these things, and it's an uphill. I mean, it's an uphill battle when we look at the way that this country is going, the burden it's putting on the healthcare system. Now I'm starting to get a little depressed. but we're optimists, and I was always raised an optimist, and my mom, she'd tell you today that this is all going to work out. But I just wanted to say, I mean, while we love to raise money, I look forward to the day I don't have to ask anybody for another dollar, and we don't have to sell another yellow wristband, we don't have to do anything for dough. And so that all starts in rooms like this, is a little impromptu, but yeah, thanks for showing up.